Rome.
Roma. Dr. Sydney Soclof. Dr. Sydney at earthlink.net. 2021. Roma. Community Roma. The city of Rome. The eternal city.
Rome. Caput Mundi. Capital of the world, La Città Eterna. The eternal city, Limen Apostolorum. Threshold of the apostles, La Città dei Sette Colli. The city of the seven hills, El Urbe. The city.
Rome is both an ancient city as well as thoroughly modern and cosmopolitan.
Rome is one of the few major European cities that escaped World War II relatively unscathed.
Central Rome remains essentially Renaissance and Baroque in character. The historic center of Rome is listed by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site.
Rome, in Italian, Roma, is the capital city of Italy in the Italian region Latium-Lazio.
Rome is located on the Tiber or Tevere River about 15 miles, or 24 kilometers from the port of Ostia on the Tyrrhenian Sea.
In this view of the city, St. Peter's Basilica, one of Rome's best-known landmarks, is in the background.
Rome has 2.9 million inhabitants, and 4.3 million considering the whole urbanized area, as represented by the province of Rome. The city of Rome entirely encloses the Vatican City.
Here is Rome is situated on the Tiber River in the central part of Italy.
The Tiber, or in Italian Tevere, is the third longest in Italy. It rises in the Apennines, flows through the middle of Rome on its way to the sea, 4 miles or 6 kilometers beyond the ancient Roman port of Ostia Antica.
Although the city center is about 15 miles, or 24 kilometers inland from the Tyrrhenian Sea, the city territory extends to the very shore, where the southwestern Ostia district is located.
In the time of the Roman Empire, Ostia was the seaport of Rome. The harbor at Ostia, now called Ostia Antica, has since silted up and now it is some 4 miles or 6 kilometers inland.
The modern-day port for Rome is 46 miles or 75 kilometers to the north at Civitavecchia.
The Commune of Rome is one of the largest European capital cities, covering an overall area of about 500 square miles, or 1,300 square kilometers.
Almost all of the points of interest are located close together in the central part of Rome near the Tiber River.
Most of the points of interest are located on the east side of the Tiber, although the Vatican is on the west side.
The street layout of the central area of Rome is very complicated. Nevertheless, it is good to have some points of orientation or reference.
Perhaps the busiest square in Rome, and near where several streets intersect, is Piazza Venezia.
Another important busiest square and point of reference or orientation in central Rome is the Piazza del Popolo.
The major thoroughfare in Rome that runs between the Piazza Venezia and the Piazza del Popolo is the Via del Corso.
Most of the major sites in Rome, except the Vatican City, are fairly close to these two piazzas and the Via del Corso joining them.
The Via del Corso got its name from the days in which it was used as a racetrack for horse racing.
The distance along the Via del Corso, between the Piazza Venezia and the Piazza del Popolo, is about 1 mile, or 1.5 kilometers.
This is a map of central Rome showing some of the principal points of interest.
Here is a satellite view of central Rome with points of interest.
This is another view of central Rome with points of interest.
This is a view of central Rome with points of interest near the Forum of Ancient Rome.
Rome has been an urban center for over 2,000 years, and the city's architecture reflects its many historical changes. The many domes and churches of Rome can be seen looking down from the Villa Medici.
The Vatican City is a sovereign state that lies entirely within the confines of Rome. It was established by the Lateran Treaty of 1929, and is under the authority of the Pope.
The Vatican City is comprised of St. Peter's Square, St. Peter's Basilica, and the Vatican Gardens.
The Sistine Chapel is located on the site of St. Peter's.
The Vatican Museums are a major museum complex in the Vatican City.
Vatican City, the world center of the Roman Catholic Church, is an independent state that lies entirely within Rome.
Many of the city's buildings were designed and decorated by some of history's greatest artists.
Italian architect Gian Lorenzo Bernini created the vast plaza in front of St. Peter's Basilica in the 1600s.
The vast plaza of St. Peter's Square is surrounded by two colonnades made up of a total of 284 columns. Each colonnade has 4 separate rows of columns.
The colonnades are curved around the square in an elliptical shape to appear as enfolding arms welcoming visitors into the square.
About 1,000 people live in the Vatican City. They include 5 cardinals and numerous diplomats and representatives of international organizations, together with 525 citizens of the Vatican City.
The present head of the Roman Catholic Church and of the Vatican City is Pope Francis.
The Vatican City has used the euro since 2002.
The Vatican City has a postal service that issues stamps, radio station, newspapers and journals,
including the L'Osservatore Romano.
The Central Church of Roman Catholicism, Basilica di San Pietro, or St. Peter's Basilica, in Vatican City, the Holy See, stands on the site where St. Peter is believed to have been buried.
St. Peter's was built in the 16th and 17th centuries to replace an earlier church. It has space to accommodate 50,000 people.
Its original overall outline was that of a Greek cross, but it is now shaped like a Latin cross. St. Peter's has been used for papal ceremonies since 1870.
In 1506, architect Donato Bramante, under commission from Pope Julius II, designed St. Peter's.
Bramante died before completing the church, so Florentine artist Michelangelo assumed the supervisory role in 1546.
Michelangelo's innovative design for the enormous ribbed dome of St. Peter's influenced dome design and construction for the next 300 years.
The construction of Basilica di San Pietro, or St. Peter's Basilica, spanned more than a century.
Many popes sponsored its construction, and many architects contributed to its design. Filled with artistic treasures, St. Peter's is called the Church of the Popes.
The Pieta, 1498 to 1499, by Michelangelo is in St. Peter's Basilica. This famous work of art depicts the body of Jesus in the arms of his mother Mary after the crucifixion. The statue is one of the most highly finished works by Michelangelo.
The Cathedra Petri, in Latin, or Chair of St. Peter, is a relic conserved in St. Peter's Basilica.
The chair of St. Peter is enclosed in a gilt bronze casing designed by Gian Lorenzo Bernini, and made in 1647 to 1653.
The vast underground graveyard or crypt beneath St. Peter's Basilica is known as the Vatican Grottos. It houses the tombs of scores of popes.
Other popes are buried in the basilica, and most of the rest lie in other Rome churches. Some European royals are also buried in the underground cemetery, including Queen Christina of Sweden.
John Paul II's burial place is where John XXIII lay before he was moved to a chapel in 2001 after his beatification.
John Paul II lies in a cypress wood coffin, which was put into a sealed zinc coffin and covered by an oak casket. Unlike some of his predecessors, his tomb will have a simple stone with his name and dates.
The Vatican Museums, Musei Vaticani, are the public art and sculpture museums in the Vatican City, which display works from the extensive collection of the Roman Catholic Church.
Pope Julius II founded the museums in the 16th century.
The Sistine Chapel and the Stanze della Signatura were decorated by Raphael. They are on the visitor route through the Vatican Museums.
The Sistine Chapel, in Italian, Cappella Sistina, is a chapel in the Apostolic Palace, the official residence of the Pope. It is famous for its architecture, which evokes the temple of the Old Testament,
and its decoration, frescoed throughout by the greatest Renaissance artists, including Michelangelo, whose ceiling is legendary.
The Sistine Chapel is also as the site of papal religious and functionary activity, notably the conclave at which a new pope is selected.
The painted ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican City is one of the world's best-known works of art.
From 1508 to 1512, the Renaissance painter and sculptor Michelangelo covered the ceiling with the Creation of Adam, an elaborate work featuring 8 scenes from the Bible's Old Testament.
From 1534 to 1541, Michelangelo added another painting, The Last Judgment, on the wall above the chapel's altar. Recent efforts to clean and restore the paintings provoked debate among art experts,
some of whom believe that the apparent signs of aging and dirt removed were actually intended by the artist to emphasize shadowing.
The Vatican Museums are open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Close to the Vatican City, and also on the right or west bank of the Tiber, is the Mausoleum of Hadrian, usually known as the Castel Sant'Angelo.
The Castel Sant'Angelo is a towering cylindrical building, initially commissioned by the Roman Emperor Hadrian as a mausoleum for himself and his family.
Castel Sant'Angelo was a fortress and castle for over 1,000 years, and is now a museum.
Here is Castel Sant'Angelo from the bridge. The angel statue on the top depicts the angel from whom the building derives its name.
Remains of ancient Rome.
The Colosseum in the center of Rome is located near the busiest traffic intersection in the city, the Piazza Venezia.
The Colosseum in Rome, built 70 to 82 AD, is best known for its multi-level system of vaults made of concrete.
It is called the Colosseum for a colossal statue of Nero that once stood nearby, but its real name is the Flavian Amphitheater.
The Colosseum was used for staged battles between lions and Christians, among other spectacles, and is one of the most famous pieces of architecture in the world.
The Colosseum in Rome is perhaps the most enduring symbol of Italy and Rome. It is the largest amphitheater ever built in the Roman Empire.
The Colosseum was originally capable of seating 50,000 spectators. It was built around 70 AD, and was used for gladiatorial combat.
At the heart of imperial Rome was the Forum, a complex of temples, ceremonial arches, and public buildings. This view of the ruins of the Forum shows the remaining columns of the Temple of Saturn and the Arch of Septimius Severus.
The Forum is adjacent to the Colosseum and close to the Piazza Venezia.
The Roman Forum, Forum Romanum. Although the Romans called it more often the Forum Magnum or just the Forum, was the central area around which ancient Rome developed,
in which commerce, prostitution, cults, and the administration of justice took place. The communal hearth was also located here.
More than 2,000 years old, the Foro Romano was also the political, economic, and social center of the Roman Empire.
In its heyday, the massive structure was surrounded by the Roman government's most important buildings, including temples, the Senate building, and numerous administrative offices.
Originally a single building, the Forum was expanded by the Emperor Julius Caesar and his successors.
With the decline of Rome in the 6th century, the Forum fell into disrepair and was eventually used as a quarry to build churches.
At one point, the surrounding streets were covered by almost 40 feet or 12 meters of debris, and the Forum was all but hidden.
Excavation began in 1871, and today, the Forum is one of the most important testaments to Italy's historical and architectural heritage.
This is the Roman Forum with the Temple of Vespasian on the left, and the Arch of Septimius Severus behind the remains of the Temple of Saturn in the foreground.
On the right are the three columns of the Temple of Castor and Pollux and the Palatine Hill. And slightly to the left of these is the Chiesa di San Lorenzo in Miranda in the distance. The Colosseum and the Arch of Titus are visible.
This is the Roman Forum with Palatine Hill in the background. The arch at the front left is the Arch of Septimius Severus, while on the right the three-column Temple of Vespasian and Titus stands in front of the Temple of Saturn.
This is the Roman Forum as seen from the tabularium.
The Roman Forum, Forum Romanum, was the political and economic center of Rome during the Republic. It emerged as such in the 7th century BC and maintained this position well into the imperial period, when it was reduced to a monumental area. It was mostly abandoned at the end of the 4th century.
The Roman Forum was originally an open section of Rome for public gatherings. Shops and temples were eventually built there, and it became the center of government.
In the center is the speaker's platform, and to the left is the Arch of Septimius Severus. The Temple of Concord can be seen in the background.
The Arch of Constantine, 312 to 315 AD, was built to commemorate Constantine the Great's victory over Maxentius, making Constantine the absolute monarch of the Roman Empire.
The Arch of Constantine is adjacent to the Colosseum, and close to the Piazza Venezia.
The Pantheon, Latin, from the Greek meaning Temple of all the Gods, is a building in Rome which was originally built as a temple to the 7 deities of the 7 planets in the state religion of ancient Rome.
The Pantheon is close to the Piazza Venezia, and a few blocks off of the Via del Corso.
Close by the Pantheon is Piazza Navona, said to be the most beautiful piazza in Rome.
The Pantheon has been a Christian church since the 7th century. It is the best preserved of all Roman buildings.
The coffers or recesses in the dome of the Pantheon were to reduce the weight. The oculus admits the only light and rain, and was to be a window to the heavens for prayers.
The Pantheon has been in continuous use throughout its history.
The Circus Maximus, Latin for greatest circus, and in Italian, Circo Massimo, is an ancient hippodrome and mass entertainment venue.
The Circus Maximus is in the valley between the Aventine and Palatine Hills. The location was first utilized for public games and entertainment by the Etruscan kings of Rome.
Somewhat later, the Circus Maximus was the site of public games and festivals. It was influenced by the Greeks in the 2nd century BC.
Meeting the demands of the Roman citizenry for mass public entertainment on a lavish scale, Julius Caesar expanded the circus around 50 BC, after which the track measured approximately 600 meters, 2,000 feet, in length, 80 meters, 400 feet, in breadth.
The Circus Maximus could accommodate 250,000 spectators, and many more, perhaps an equal number again, could view the games by standing on the adjoining hills.
In 81 AD, the Senate built a triple arch honoring Titus by the closed east end, not to be confused with the Arch of Titus over the Via Sacra on the opposite side of the Palatinum.
Chariot racing was the most important event at the circus. The track could hold 12 chariots, and the two sides of the track were separated by a raised median called the spina.
Statues of various gods were set up on the spina, and Augustus erected an Egyptian obelisk on it as well. At either end of the spina was a turning post, the meta, around which chariots made dangerous turns at speed.
On top of the spina, there were rotatable metal dolphins that were turned down to mark laps around the course.
Chariot racing was a very dangerous sport, frequently resulting in spectacular crashes and quite possibly the death of one or more of the contestants.
One end of the track extended further back than the other, to allow the chariots to line up to begin the race. Here there were starting gates, or carceres, which staggered the chariots so that each traveled the same distance to the first turn.
During these chariot races, bribery of the judge in order to fix the start of the race was very common. The race went for a total distance of about 6.5 kilometers, 4 miles.
Very little now remains of the circus, except for the now grass-covered racing track and the spina. Some of the starting gates remain, but most of the seating has disappeared. The materials no doubt employed for building other structures in medieval Rome.
The Circus Maximus is a park today. The building on the back is the Imperial Palace on the Palatine Hill. The circus still occasionally entertains the Romans. Being a large green area in the center of the city, it is often used for concerts and meetings.
The Italian World Cup 2006 victory was celebrated in the Circus Maximus, when over 700,000 people packed in to celebrate.
The Circus Maximus retained the honor of being the first and largest circus in Rome. But it was not the only example. Other Roman circuses included the Circus Flaminius, the Circus of Maxentius, and the Circus of Nero.
The Capitoline Hill between the Forum and the Campus Martius is one of the 7 hills of Rome.
Trajan's Column is a monument in Rome located in Trajan's Forum. It is near the Quirinial Hill, north of the Roman Forum. completed in 113 AD. It commemorates Trajan's victory in the Dacian Wars.
Trajan's Column is in Trajan's Forum, located next to the Piazza Venezia.
The Temple of Castor and Pollux in the Roman Forum was originally built in gratitude for victory at the Battle of Lake Regillus in 495 BC.
Castor and Pollux, in Greek, Polydeuces, were the Dioscuri, the twins of Gemini, the twin sons of Zeus, Jupiter, and Leda. Their cult came to Rome from Greece via Magna Graecia in the Greek culture of southern Italy.
The baths of Caracalla were Roman public baths, or thermae, built in Rome between 212 and 216 AD, during the reign of the Emperor Caracalla. The extensive ruins of the baths have become a popular tourist attraction.
The Caracalla bath complex of buildings was more a leisure center than just a series of baths. The baths were the second to have a public library within the complex.
Like other public libraries in Rome, there were two separate and equal-sized rooms or buildings. One was for Greek language texts, and one for Latin language texts.
The Appian Way, or Via Appia in Latin and Italian, was the most important ancient Roman road.
The Appian Way connected Rome to Brindisi, in the region of Apulia in southeast Italy.
The Appian Way was considered to be the model for all subsequent Roman roads, and the very symbol of the Republic, bringing order to Italy, and peace and freedom to its peoples.
The catacombs of St. Calixtus were called by Pope John XXIII, the sublimest and most famous in Rome. These underground burial places, situated along the Appian Way, have an intricate network of passages and chambers on 4 levels.
Some 12.5 miles or 20 kilometers of passages have so far been explored, and the total number of burials is estimated at around 170,000.
In 6 sacramental chapels, constructed between 290 and 310 AD, are both pagan and early Christian wall paintings.
After ancient Rome,
the Piazza Venezia is the busiest intersection in Rome.
Here again is the Piazza Venezia and the Via del Corso. Michelangelo's famous statue of Moses is in the church of San Pietro in Vincoli, just to the north of the Piazza Venezia.
This is Michelangelo's famous statue of Moses, in the church of San Pietro in Vincoli.
This is the church of San Pietro in Vincoli. The word Vincoli means chains, and the church's most cherished relic are the chains of St. Peter. The
Piazza Venezia is at the foot of the Capitoline Hill and near the Roman Forum and Colosseum.
The Piazza Venezia has a constant stream of traffic, yet no traffic lights. Instead, a white-gloved traffic police officer stands on a block and directs traffic. Adjacent to the Piazza Venezia is the Palazzo Venezia. The Palazzo Venezia was constructed in 1455, during the Fascist era. From 1926 to 1943 it was Mussolini's official residence. It is now a museum with decorative and applied arts of the medieval and Renaissance periods. This is the Palazzo Venezia, showing the balcony from which Mussolini made his infamous Il Duce speeches in the years prior to World War II. On the south side of the Piazza Venezia is the huge national monument to Victor Emmanuel II, to serve as a symbol of the newly united Italy.
The national monument to Victor Emmanuel II was begun in 1885 and completed in 1911. It is the largest and most magnificent monument in Italy.
The Palazzo del Quirinale or Quirinale Palace is the official residence of the President of Italy. It was begun in 1574 to serve as the summer residence of the Pope.
The Quirinale Palace was later enlarged, and from 1870 to 1946 it served as the Royal Palace.
The Quirinale Palace is close to the Piazza Venezia and the Via del Corso.
The National Museum of Rome, Museo Nazionale Romano, in Italian, was founded in 1889, with the aim of collecting antiquities from the 5th century BC to the 3rd century AD.
The Piazza di Spagna was named after the nearby Spanish embassy to the Vatican, since 1647.
This is the Piazza di Spagna and the Spanish Steps.
Tourists in Rome gather on the Spanish Steps. Built in the 18th century, these steps lead up to the Trinità dei Monti Church, constructed in the 15th century in the Piazza di Spagna.
The Trinità dei Monti, or more completely the Santissima Trinità al Monte Pincio, or Holy Trinity on Pincio Hill, is a famous church, and known for its scenic appearance above the Spanish Steps that descend into the Piazza di Spagna.
The short road from Via del Corso up to the Spanish Steps is Via Condotti, lined with very expensive high-fashion shops, similar to Rodeo Drive of Beverly Hills, or Fifth Avenue of New York.
This shows Piazza Cavour, and the Vatican City.
Here are some crowds of shoppers and tourists on the Via Condotti.
The Church of the Gessa, or Il Gessa, was built in 1568, and is called in Italian the Chiesa del Sacro Nome di Gessa, or the Church of the Holy Name of Jesus.
Il Gessa is the mother church of the Society of Jesus, known as the Jesuits, an order of the Roman Catholic Church.
Il Gessa, or the Church of the Gessa, is located in the Piazza del Gessa close to the Piazza Venezia, and a few blocks off of the Via del Corso.
The facade is recognized as the first truly Baroque facade. It was the model for innumerable Jesuit churches all over the world, especially in the Americas.
This is the interior of Il Gessa.
The Palazzo Farnese is considered a masterpiece of Renaissance architecture. It was begun in 1517, and houses the French embassy in Rome.
The Trevi Fountain was designed by Nicola Salvi and completed in the 18th century.
The Trevi Fountain is a good example of Baroque art. Statues of gods and horses adorn the fountain, and two tritons are on either side of Neptune, the Roman god of the sea.
The Trevi Fountain is located a very short distance from the Via del Corso, between the Piazza Venezia and the Spanish Steps.
According to tradition, tossing a coin into the Trevi Fountain ensures a return visit to Rome.
Piazza del Campidoglio is located on top of the Capitol Hill in Rome. It is where Roman divinities were once praised, and nowadays, it is headquarters of the Italian government.
Piazza del Campidoglio was designed by Michelangelo, who also designed the two palaces on the opposite sides of the square. The divergence creates a widening perspective which is most effective.
The Piazza del Popolo is one of the most famous places, especially for foreigners, in Rome.
The name in modern Italian literally means Piazza of the People, but historically it derives from the poplars, populus in Latin, Pioppo in Italian, after which the Church of Santa Maria del Popolo, in the northeast corner of the piazza, takes its name.
The Piazza del Popolo is at the northern end of the Via del Corso, linking it with the Piazza Venezia about 1 mile to the south.
The Villa Borghese Pincina, Borghese Villa on the Pincian Hill, is a villa built by the architect Flaminio Ponzio.
Ponzio used it as a villa suburbana, a villa at the edge of Rome, and to house his art collection.
Villa Borghese is the largest and most famous public park in Rome. Within the park are 2 museums, and art gallery, and various national academies of art.
This is the Villa Borghese Gardens.
Santa Maria Maggiore is one of the 4 basilicas in Rome that bear the title Maggiore or Major, and is actually considered to be part of the Vatican City. It was built by Pope Sixtus III in honor of Mary in 440 AD.
Santa Maria Maggiore, or the Basilica of St. Mary Major, is located here with respect to the Colosseum and the Piazza Venezia.
Modern Rome.
Stazione Termini Giovanni Paolo II, or Stazione Centrale di Termini, is the main train station of Rome and the largest railway station in Europe.
The train station was named after the ancient baths of Diocletian, in Latin, thermae, which are across the street from the main entrance.
Here is the location of the central train station of Rome, the Stazione Centrale di Termini.
Here is the train station, the baths of Diocletian, and Piazza Repubblica.
Termini is also the main hub for public transport in Rome. The 2 Rome metro lines A and B intersect at Termini, and a major bus station is located at Piazza Cinquecento, the square in front of the station.
In December 2006, the station was named after Pope John Paul II, as Stazione Termini Giovanni Paolo II.
Piazza del Cinquecento in front of the station is a main transfer point for buses including Route 110, a red double-deck, open-top bus that leaves from there every 30 minutes and goes around to the main tourist sites of Rome.
The buses go every day, holidays included, with a 20 to 30-minute frequency from 8:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. from the Piazza dei Cinquecento, Termini railway station.
The ticket is valid for 24 hours from first use. The entire loop is approximately 2 hours. There is a discounted no hop-off option to take 1 lap of the route without getting on or off.
The Palazzo della Civiltà Italiana was planned and built during Fascist period, and finished after the end of the World War II.
It is also called Palazzo della Civiltà e del Lavoro, Civilization and Work Palace, Colossia Quadrato, Squared Colosseum, or Gravira, a cheese with holes.
The Palazzo della Civiltà Italiana, or Civilization Palace, is an important icon of Italian neoclassicism. It is situated in the financial district of Rome, called the EUR.
The main auditorium in Rome is the Parco della Musica, designed by Renzo Piano.
Rome is a nationwide center for higher education.
Its first university, La Sapienza, founded in 1303, is the largest in Europe, and the second largest in the world, with more than 150,000 students attending.
Rome is a major center for the production of the motion pictures. Cinecittà is the center of the Italian cinema, and many of today's biggest box office hits are filmed there.
Many consider Cinecittà to be synonymous with Italian cinema in general.
Cinecittà was founded in 1937 by the fascist dictator Benito Mussolini. The studios were bombed by the Western Allies during World War II.
In the 1950s, Cinecittà was the filming location for several large American film productions like Ben-Hur, and then became the studio most closely associated with Federico Fellini. Cinecittà also hosts TV productions.
Rome is also a major fashion center. Several of Italy's top fashion houses were actually founded and still remain in Rome, like those of Valentino and Fendi.
The history of Rome.
Italy became a unified country only in recent history, dating from 1861. However, the land now known as Italy has been inhabited since Paleolithic times. Here is a brief timeline of the history of Italy and of Rome.
The Etruscan civilization arose in the 9th century BC, and was overthrown by the Romans in the 4th to 3rd centuries BC.
The Etruscans brought to Italy the culture and art of Greece and Asia Minor, and technological and administrative skills, later taken over by the Romans.
Around 700 BC, ancient Greeks settled in Italy, and founded cities there. Some of these cities became very rich and powerful,
but others were later conquered by Italian tribes. The Greeks also traded with Italians, particularly the Etruscans.
The Greeks' colonies in southern Italy and Sicily were known as Magna Graecia.
The term Magna Graecia means Great Greece in Latin, and in Greek, the region was called Magale Elis.
The Greek colony Neapolis, or New City, became Napoli, or Naples.
The famous Greek philosopher and mathematician, Archimedes, resided in Syracuse.
Here is Magna Graecia around 280 BC.
There are many ancient Greek ruins in southern Italy and Sicily.
The Etruscans lived in the central part of Italy and the region around Rome. They were quite a long way from the Greek parts of Italy, but they were still important to the Greeks.
The Etruscans were wealthy and powerful, and the Greeks traded with them frequently. They also made pots and bronze bowls and jugs which copied those of the Greeks.
The Etruscans spoke a completely different language from other Italians, and their origin is unknown.
In the 4th to 3rd centuries BC, the Etruscan civilization was overthrown by the Romans.
The Phoenicians established naval bases in Sardinia and Sicily to protect their sea trading routes in the western Mediterranean.
Here are the Phoenician sea routes in the Mediterranean Sea.
The historical site of Rome on its 7 hills was occupied as early as the Bronze Age, around 1500 BC, and the city was politically unified by the early 6th century BC.
According to legend, Rome was founded on April 21, 753 BC, by Romulus. He killed his twin brother named Remus, with whom he had been raised by a wolf, and became the first king of Rome.
In this sculpture, the ancient Etruscan bronze Capitoline wolf suckles the infant twins, Romulus and Remus.
Rome was built on the Sun Hill, later named Palatine Hill, and extended to include these 7 hills: Palatine, Aventine, Capitoline, Quirínal, Viminal, Esquiline, and Celian.
The Roman Forum is situated between the Palatine and Capitoline Hills.
The Palatine Hill, on the south side of the Forum, is the ancient center of Rome, is where Romulus and Remus, the legendary founders of Rome, were said to have been born.
The Palatine Hill is only 167 feet, or 51 meters high.
The English word palace comes from the Palatine Hill, where the imperial palaces were located. Words derived from Palatine in other languages include Italian palazzo, French palais, German palast, Czech palak, etc.
This is a model of the center of ancient Rome, showing the Colosseum and the Forum.
Italy under Roman rule 753 BC. The legendary beginnings of Rome by Romulus 396 BC to 280 BC. Rome conquers central Italy 300 BC to 146 BC. Roman rule extends to northern and southern Italy and Sicily.
Rome was the headquarters of the Roman Kingdom, later of the Roman Republic, and then the capital of the Roman Empire.
The Romans gradually conquered the Italian peninsula, extended their dominion over the entire Mediterranean basin, and expanded their empire into continental Europe.
Under Pompey the Great and Julius Caesar, Rome's influence was extended over Syria, Jerusalem, Cyprus, and Gaul.
One of the most influential political and military leaders in history, Gaius Julius Caesar, helped establish the vast empire ruled by Rome.
Caesar's triumph in a civil war around 40 BC made him the absolute ruler of Rome, but political jealousies among his opponents motivated them to assassinate him.
After the Battle of Actium, all Roman lands were controlled by Octavian, or Augustus, the first Roman emperor. Rome produced the largest and longest-lasting empire of classical antiquity.
Between 1480 and 395 AD, the Roman Empire reached its greatest extent. The city of Rome was pivotal and responsible for the spread of Greco-Roman culture that endures to this day.
This map shows Roman Empire at its greatest extent in 116 AD.
The empire extended from the British Isles in the northwest to Egypt in the southeast, and from Armenia in the northeast to Mauritania, now Morocco, in the southwest, and Lusitania, now Portugal, in the west.
The Roman Empire thus encompassed the Mediterranean, ruled every civilized land in Europe and Africa, and extended into Asia.
The only other civilized countries in the world lay farther east, in Asia. Emperor Trajan extended Roman rule into Mesopotamia, now Iraq. Hadrian, however, withdrew to the previous frontier.
For several centuries under the Roman Empire, the Mediterranean became virtually a Roman lake, surrounded on all sides by the empire, and was called Mare Nostrum, or RC. The map indicates why they had good reason to do so.
As the imperial capital, Rome became the site of magnificent public buildings, including palaces, temples, public baths, theaters, and stadiums.
Rome reached the peak of its grandeur and population during the late 1st and early 2nd centuries AD.
In 79 AD, Pompeii and Herculaneum were destroyed by a great eruption of Mount Vesuvius.
This is the Vesuvius volcano overlooking the city of Naples.
In 313 AD, Roman Emperor Constantine the Great granted religious freedom to Christians.
Rome remained the capital of the Roman Empire until Emperor Constantine the Great dedicated Constantinople, now Istanbul, in 330 AD.
In 330 AD, Constantine made Byzantium the capital of the Roman Empire under the new name Novo Roma, or New Rome. Later that was changed to Constantinople.
In 391 AD, Roman Emperor Theodosius made Christianity the state religion.
In 395 AD, Theodosius divided the Roman Empire into an eastern part with the capital at Constantinople,
and a western part with the capital at Ravenna.
Barbarian invasions of the 4th to 5th centuries destroyed the Western Roman Empire. The western part of the empire, Gaul, Iberia, and North Africa were invaded by nomadic horse peoples from the Eurasian steppe.
These hordes of invaders that descended from the north included the Goths, Vandals, and Huns from Asia, wreaking terror and devastation.
These conquerors soon became settled, and adopted many of the local customs, forming many small and warring kingdoms.
During this time, the Roman legions withdrew from Britain in order to protect other parts of the empire.
This left Celtic Britain open to invasion and conquest by various tribes from northwest Europe, the Angles, Saxons, Jutes, and Frisians, and brought the origins of the English language to Britain.
The empire began to crumble, however, and finally collapsed in the 5th century. In 410 AD Rome fell to the Visigoths.
The term vandalism comes from the destruction caused by the Vandals.
In 476 AD, Romulus Augustulus, the last Roman emperor, was deposed by the Germanic general Odoacer. The splendor of the Roman Empire had lasted several centuries, until 476 AD, and then a new age commenced, the Dark Age, followed by the Middle Ages.
Temporarily, the East was again dominant as the Byzantine Empire was formed from the eastern half of the Roman Empire.
Rome alternated between Byzantine rule and plundering by Germanic barbarians.
The population of Rome declined to a mere 20,000 during the early Middle Ages, reducing the once sprawling city to groups of inhabited buildings, interspersed among large areas of ruins and vegetation.
Rome remained nominally part of the Byzantine Empire until 751, when the Lombards finally abolished the Exarchate of Ravenna.
The Byzantine Empire would last for another 1,000 years until 1453, when Constantinople finally fell to the Ottoman Turks and was renamed Istanbul.
Rome became the preeminent Christian city, as compared to Antioch and Alexandria, and later Constantinople and Jerusalem.
This was based on the tradition that St. Peter and St. Paul were martyred in the city during the 1st century, together with the city's political importance. The patron saints of Rome remain St. Peter and St. Paul.
The Bishop of Rome, later known as the Pope, claimed primacy over all bishops, and therefore all Christians, on the basis that he is the successor of St. Peter, upon whom Jesus built his church.
The prestige of the Pope has been enhanced since 313 AD through donations by Roman emperors and patricians, as well as the growing influence of the Church over the failing civil imperial authority. These donations include the Lateran Palace and patriarchal basilicas.
Papal authority has been exercised over the centuries with varying degrees of success, at times triggering divisions among Christians, until the present.
After the collapse of the Roman Empire in 476, the popes assumed more and more civil authority, first in Rome and in the surrounding territories. Rome became the center of the Catholic Church and the capital city of the Papal States.
A great number of churches, convents and other religious buildings were erected in the city, sometimes above the ruins of older pre-Christian sites of worship.
Churches proliferated during the Renaissance, when Rome's most notable churches were built.
This included St. Peter's Basilica on the Vatican Hill, which is the largest church in the world, and St. John at the Lateran, the cathedral of the city of Rome.
The papacy established its residence first in the Lateran Palace, then in the Quirinal Palace.
By the end of the 6th century, the protection of Rome was in the hands of the Roman Catholic Church, which achieved absolute rule only in the 15th century.
With the rise of early Christianity, the Bishop of Rome gained religious as well as political importance, eventually becoming known as the Pope, and establishing Rome as the center of the Catholic Church.
Papacy was the king of the Franks from 751 to 768, and was the father of Charlemagne in 756. He gave the Pope temporal jurisdiction over Rome and surrounding areas, thus creating the Papal States.
Rome has been the seat of the popes since the 1st century.
The state of the Vatican City, an enclave of Rome, is the sovereign territory of the Holy See, and smallest nation in the world.
Rome was the focus of struggles between the papacy and the Holy Roman Empire, starting with Charlemagne, who was crowned its first emperor in Rome on Christmas Day of 800 AD by Pope Leo III.
Rome was a major pilgrimage site during the Middle Ages.
These are the Stato della Chiesa, or states of the Church. Rome flourished during the Renaissance, and was the seat of the papacy and the Papal States.
Apart from brief periods as an independent city during the Middle Ages, Rome kept its status of papal capital and holy city for centuries, even when the Pope relocated it to Avignon from 1309 to 1337.
Rome flourished as a hub of cultural and artistic activity during the Renaissance, under the patronage of the papal court.
The population of Rome rose again and reached 100,000 during the 17th century, but it ultimately lagged behind the other European capitals over the subsequent centuries, being largely busy with the Counter-Reformation.
Rome remained the capital of the Papal States, until its annexation into the Kingdom of Italy in 1870.
After 476 AD, Italy had become a collection of city-states and regions, under the control of various local and foreign rulers.
Universities and medical schools were, however, established in this time in Italy.
This is a picture of a lecture at the University of Bologna in the 1300s.
Italy's political fragmentation lasted for centuries, but did not diminish its impact on European culture, notably during the Renaissance.
For a time, Italy was divided mainly between the Lombard Empire and the Byzantine Empire.
This is Italy in late 12th century.
This is Italy in the Middle Ages.
This is Italy in the 15th century.
From the 15th to the 18th century, the Italian lands were ruled by France, the Holy Roman Empire, Spain, and Austria. Here is Italy in 1748, divided into many small states and kingdoms, including the Papal States, ruled by the Roman Catholic Church.
When Napoleonic rule ended in 1815, Italy was again a grouping of independent states.
Italian unification, called in Italian the Risorgimento, or resurgence, was the political and social process that unified various states of the Italian peninsula into the single nation of Italy.
The process of the unification of Italy began with a Congress of Vienna in 1815, and the end of Napoleonic rule, and largely ended with the Franco-Prussian War in 1871.
Although the last Città Irredente did not join the Kingdom of Italy until the Treaty of Saint-Germain after World War I.
Giuseppe Mazzini was an Italian revolutionary who fought to oust the Italian nobles and the Austrians from his country. He was leading uprisings in Italy from France when he was sentenced to death in absentia in 1832.
Victor Emmanuel became King of Sardinia in 1802, but the French soon annexed his domains. After the defeat and exile of Emperor Napoleon I, he regained his territories.
Victor Emmanuel's repressive regime led to revolt, and he abdicated in favor of his brother in 1821.
Giuseppe Garibaldi, born in 1807, was an Italian patriot, soldier, and freedom fighter who led the Risorgimento that sought Italian unification and independence.
Garibaldi and his military prowess and leadership were primarily responsible for the eventual creation of the Kingdom of Italy, which was founded in 1861.
The Kingdom of Italy was finally established in 1861, due in large part to Garibaldi's leadership and military successes against occupying European forces. He eventually ended his career as an elected legislator in the government he dedicated his life to establish.
Sardinian Prime Minister Camillo Benso Cavour became the chief architect of Italian unification under Sardinian King Victor Emmanuel II.
With Cavour's help, Victor Emmanuel was made King of Italy in 1861, and Italy was officially unified in 1870.
Until 1860, present-day Italy was composed of several small states and territories.
The Risorgimento successfully united most of Italy, including Sicily and Sardinia by 1861, and the unification of Peninsular Italy was completed by 1870.
The Kingdom of Sardinia at that time was composed of the island of Sardinia together with the Piedmont region on the mainland.
In 1860 almost all of the states in northern Italy became part of the Kingdom of Sardinia. In 1861, the Kingdom of Sardinia was joined by all the southern states except Rome, and became the Kingdom of Italy.
This was joined by most of the rest of present-day Italy, including Lombardy, Tuscany, and the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies in 1859 and 1860.
In the period of 1860 to 1870, there was the annexation of Venetia, the region of Venice.
In 1871, Rome joined the now united Italy, and became its capital.
This shows the stages in the unification of Italy, from 1859 to 1861.
Rome became the capital of a united Italy in 1871.
Victor Emmanuel II, formerly King of Sardinia, became King of Italy in 1861, after the Italian states voted to form a unified kingdom in 1946. The last king abdicated, or voluntarily gave up his throne, after the people voted in favor of a republic.
On March 17, 1861, The first Italian parliament met in the Palazzo Madama in Turin, as represented in this painting now in the Museo Nazionale del Risorgimento in Turin.
Emigration to the United States started in the mid-1800s but at first was confined mainly to northern Italy. However, later immigration came from the south of Italy. Here a family of Italian immigrants arrives at Ellis Island in New York Harbor early in the 20th century.
Fascist Italy. From 1922 to 1943.
A period of economic and political turmoil engulfed Italy after World War I.
When none of the largest parties in Italy could establish a stable government, Benito Mussolini, the leader of a militantly nationalistic group called the Fascisti, threatened to use force to gain power.
After a victorious World War I, Rome witnessed the rise to power of Italian fascism guided by Benito Mussolini, who marched on the city in 1922, declared a new Roman Empire and allied Italy with Nazi Germany.
This was a period of rapid growth in population of Rome, from the 212,000 people at the time of unification, to more than 1 million.
On October 28, 1922, as the fascists staged a march on Rome, the Italian King Victor Emmanuel III invited Mussolini to form a coalition government.
Leaders of the fascist movement, pictured here wearing the party's symbolic black shirts, joined other marchers as they entered Rome.
When Rome was annexed by force to the newly unified Kingdom of Italy in 1870, Pope Pius IX retired to the Vatican, proclaiming himself a prisoner of the Savoy monarchy and leading to decades of conflict between the new state and the Catholic Church.
In 1929, the Kingdom of Italy and the Papacy reached an agreement known as the Lateran Treaty.
The Lateran Treaty recognized the Vatican City as an independent state under the sovereignty of the Pope and made Roman Catholicism the official religion of Italy. Benito Mussolini signed the treaty for the Italian government, and Pietro Cardinal Gasparri signed for the Papacy.
Rome was transformed into a modern capital in the 1920s and 1930s, and became Italy's administrative, cultural, and transportation center.
The Palazzo Montecitorio is a palace in Rome that is the seat of the Italian Chamber of Deputies, the Italian Parliament.
Although Italy had joined the Allies during World War I, the social unrest in the 1920s brought to power the fascist movement of Benito Mussolini.
And Italy allied itself with Nazi Germany in World War II.
Here Italy's King Victor Emmanuel III, in the center, visits Italian troops during World War II, and talks with senior staff, including Marshal Pietro Badoglio on the left.
In September 1943, Marshal Pietro Badoglio, acting as Italy's prime minister, signed an armistice with the Allied forces, and Italy surrendered unconditionally.
In October 1943, Italy declared war against Germany. Seated next to Marshal Badoglio is United States General Maxwell Taylor.
During World War II, Rome was damaged by both Allied forces bombing and Nazi occupation. After the execution of Mussolini and the end of the war, a 1946 referendum abolished the monarchy in favor of the Italian Republic.
Civilian resistance fighters, or partisans, played an active role in defeating Hitler's forces in Italy, while thousands of Italian soldiers were forced to fight alongside the Nazis in Italy, or on the Russian front, Most Italian citizens opposed Mussolini's fascist regime.
As the war came to an end in 1945, partisans captured Mussolini and executed him. Partisans also exacted vengeance on German sympathizers and high-ranking officials of the fascist establishment.
Defeated by the Allies in 1943, Italy proclaimed itself a republic in 1946. Italian women voted for the first time in 1946. A group of citizens in Milan are seen here reading the historic news.
Rome grew momentously after the war, as one of the driving forces behind the Italian economic miracle of post-war reconstruction and modernization. It became a fashionable city in the 1950s and early 1960s, the years of La Dolce Vita, or the sweet life.
A new rising trend in population continued till the mid-1980s, when the commune or metropolitan area of Rome had more than 2,800,000 residents.
The present-day population of the agglomeration or metropolitan area of Rome is 3.35 million, and it ranks as number 100 in metropolitan area population in the world, just below the Minneapolis-St. Paul area in the United States.
Italian women demonstrated in Milan in 1969 for a law permitting divorce. Divorce remained illegal in heavily Catholic Italy until the 1970s.
After the mid-1980s, the population started to slowly decline as more residents moved to nearby suburbs or comuni. This has been attributed to their perceiving a decrease in the quality of life, especially because of the continuously jammed traffic and the worsening pollution it brings about.
Civitavecchia means ancient town.
Civitavecchia is the modern-day port for Rome in the central Italian region of Latium, a seaport on the Tyrrhenian Sea. It is located 50 miles or 80 kilometers west-northwest of Rome.
The modern city of Civitavecchia was built over a pre-existing Etruscan settlement. The harbor was constructed by the Emperor Trajan at the beginning of the 2nd century AD.
The Civitavecchia harbor is formed by two moles and a breakwater, on which is a lighthouse.
Civitavecchia became a free port under Pope Innocent XII in 1696.
Here is Civitavecchia with a cruise ship in port. It is the main port of Rome in modern era. In 1859, the Roman Civitavecchia Railroad was opened for service.
During World War II, Civitavecchia was severely damaged by Allied bombings.
Civitavecchia is today a major cruise and ferry port, and the main starting point for sea connection from central Italy to Sardinia and Barcelona. Fishing has a secondary importance.
The massive Forte Michelangelo's fort, was commissioned to Bramante by Pope Julius II to defend the port from the pirate attacks, and was completed in 1535.
The upper part of the Moschio Tower, however, was completed by Michelangelo, who gave the name to the fortress. The edifice has 4 large towers.
The main tower, of octagonal shape, has sides of 12 meters. The walls have an impressive thickness of 7 meters.
This shows the location of the cruise ship port, Forte Michelangelo, and the train station of Civitavecchia.
The Rocca is a castle built in the 15th century by Pope Sixtus V.
An apostolic palace was added to the Rocca by Pope Pius IV in the 16th century.
Will it be hot in Rome? Or will it be very hot?
Here are the average high and low temperatures in degrees Fahrenheit throughout the year in Rome.
Here are the average high and low temperatures in degrees Celsius throughout the year in Rome.
Rainfall in Rome.
Here is the rainfall throughout the year in Rome. The yearly total is 32 inches or 81 centimeters. We see that there is a pronounced dry season in the midsummer months of June through August.
These are the trains between Civitavecchia and the Roma Termini station.
Trains between Civitavecchia and Roma TE. The frequency is about every 30 minutes. The cost is €9 each way. The travel time is approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes.
There is a shuttle bus from the port to the center of Civitavecchia. Then it is 15 to 20-minute walk, or a very short taxi ride, to the train station.
Mediterranean links.
Table of contents.